Clark or WSRX, and you're watching Worldwide Sim Racing. And it's time for the German Grand Prix. I'm just going to ask Carl Logan to turn down his mic because I can hear myself a lot. But Official Sully is in the commentating booth today. How are you today?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me back once again. Can't wait to get started.
Glad to have you back onto the commentating booth. I don't know why I just got thrown off. My character reset again as we're just getting ready for the start. My character reset again in the game, and then all of a sudden as I streamed, I looked up at the top right and my rank and everything was back, and I got thrown off by it for some reason. So that is why the intro to this stream was not fantastic. As we're just getting ready for the start. Sorry.
Will I go through the track that we're doing today?
Well, we're at the Hockenheim Ring. Tell us a little about the German Grand Prix circuit as Carl Logan does enter the lobby.
The Hockenheim Ring is in Germany. It has 16 corners with 3 DRS zones into turn 1, 2, and 6. The past winner here in WSR was Sweet Crown 19. We're expecting either a 1 or a 2 stop from the mediums to the hards, or if you begin on the softs, we will most likely be doing a 2 stop because they can't go very far. And in a 50% race, there will be 34 laps.
So very, very exciting stuff around the Hockenheim Ring, home to one of the best races of the decade, according to Formula One, that was voted on by the fans. In fact, I believe they just recently uploaded a extended highlights. I think that race was selected as the best race of the decade via a vote on F1.com. So we're getting ready for our own German Grand Prix, and hopefully it's more of the same carnage. Though the only thing that I will say is that it's not going to be raining. That's for sure.
Hopefully. Oh, the weather is set to clear. I didn't actually take note of that.
He did. Because too many rain races last time.
Okay. Okay, so I think we're just waiting on one of the drivers to switch back to a different car. I think one of the drivers is meant to be a reserve for another driver, but he's in the wrong team at the moment. But I think it's being sorted out as we speak.
You can turn your mic up a little bit. I just needed to not hear my voice, that's all.
How does that?
That's fine.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was just I had reverb.
And we have 17 drivers in the lobby.
So,
Hopefully
very, very good. 2 spectators, 17 drivers, already looking full, getting ready for the start of this race. And I'm very excited that we have pretty much full teams. Dempsey is in the Ferrari, taking over for WSR Gurman, who is yet to make a race this season. Driving alongside Sweet Crown 19, who will look to keep his battle alive with Flip Flop Fish, as it was so alive in the previous race in France, which I have to tell you, Sully, was one of the greatest races I've ever seen, not just in a sim racing perspective, but just in a racing perspective in general.
And especially around France, anyway.
Especially around France. Overtake nothing in the 2019 race.
The viewers should also be aware that the stewards have also overturned the penalty to Sweet Crown 19, so he was promoted back into first place after the race. So as the standings are, Sweet Crown is now leading the championship ahead of Flip Flop Flish and Always Chaos, rounding out the podium. The team championship is Ferrari in first, and Mercedes in second, with Williams in third.
I just want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, there is a little bit of an issue on UCMB Fly Inside, who was hosting the lobbies. So we are just waiting a little bit longer for that. But it is getting ready for the start. He has started it. So 20 seconds to go from the start of the German Grand Prix. And
qualifying of the German Grand Prix.
Oh, I don't want to hear it. Lots of nonsense coming out. Lots of nonsense coming out of the other side of the commentary booth. But we're going to start anyway. Session starts in 3, 2, 1, and then 0, and then it's another second, and then they finally go into the loading screen. The German Grand Prix, the Hockenheimring, used to be quite a large circuit. They cut it down a while ago out to the layout that we've seen for the past decade. And we're getting ready for the start of qualifying. 18 minutes of nonstop action to see who will be the fastest man on track and get pole position around Germany. It was, I believe, Sweet Crown 19 in pole position last week. Flip-flops Fish alongside him, and it was a hectic battle to the end in that race.
Yeah. We're expecting most people to qualify on the mediums that are hard tires today. It'd be very weird to see people qualify on the soft, considering they can only go about 5 to 6 laps in a 50% race, which means you will definitely be roped into a two-stop. So expect the quicker of the drivers, such as Flip-Flop and Sweet Crown, to be qualifying on the medium compound of tire.
And we're loading up, and we're in the pit lane right now. As it's 17 drivers. Let's go over the lineup right now. It's Obiku and Element 10, Psycho Sane, Johnny, Flip-Flop Fish 4, Sweet Crown 19, Tapaster, Sea Freeze 22, Scarlogan LPC. Kev Wood is in the lobby. Dempsey is also in the lobby. Mike 52 is in the lobby. You See Me Flying. Chaos, Honos, the Deck 91, and Mitch 791. So 17 drivers getting ready for set action in worldwide sim racing. As 30 seconds have passed in there, we haven't gotten any drivers exiting. Usually it's Flip-Flop Fish who gets an early jump on everybody and gets out first, but he's waiting and biding his time just a little bit. But we will hear one engine roar, and after that, which I do believe we do have one, and yes, I believe it's one of the McLarens about to exit. And no, it's actually going to at first be a racing point, and it's going to be Mike 52 who's going to get out onto the racing track first. Mike 52 meeting a very bad end to his race in the very first lap of the French Grand Prix, running into the back of Ben Swerven, who was not in the race, it seems, this week, as he had a reset issue. That reset issue has been resolved. There was an issue in the settings for the race, but that is not going to happen this week, and everything will be good to go. Any drivers who go off track will just simply go off track. They will not be reset back onto the track, as Mike 52 missing his braking zone into the hairpin. Let's go right on board of Mike 52 and get a little bit of an onboard lap of this Hockenheimring.
Surprisingly on the soft compounded tire.
So not biting to the strategy of Soli, it seems.
But a lot of the drivers are actually on the mediums and the hards, especially the higher up drivers. Well, I say higher up.
The leaders of the championship.
Yes, and some other people that are also on it, I suppose.
And Mike 52 goes off track, and he is dropping the car onto the gravel, and then he spins round, and he's pretty much ruined those soft compound tires immediately.
Maybe it's only an installation lap, you would hope.
Well, no, because he's going for it. That's not good. That's not a good idea, in my opinion. Let's run aboard of Formula Johnny. He's in the McLaren, as he is going to look to set his first lap in qualifying. It was a pretty decent race for him, I would say, coming back into the league after he had issues in Season 1, hoping that he has a better run of things in Season 2. As currently, though there's no time set, he is showing as fourth on the leaderboard. Coming into the hairpin, the end of Sector 1, and hits the hairpin well, getting on the power early, running up on the curb just a little bit, but not too bad of an exit out of there.
He did come 10th in the last race. No, sorry. He qualified 10th, and he came in the end. He came 12th, just outside the points.
Somebody who did finish just in the points after penalties was Scarlogan LPC, who has not come out of the pits yet, and did receive his point for fastest lap. So a little bit of a surprise from us, and Formula Johnny just lets somebody by. I think it was Chaos. He just wasn't having it. Obviously not happy with his lap. Mike is already out of qualifying. Sector 3, he crashed in. If we can catch where that was. I'm not particularly seeing where he crashed.
I have a weird feeling it was due to the tires being overheated.
Like he retired?
4.9 for Psycho Sane. Elbiku's after spinning. And is that now on the gravel? Hanos is after going second.
And Elbiku is on the same area where Sergio Perez crashed this year. and he's just has it still on track. That's not, you're going to get disqualified if you don't get out of there soon. So I would think that he would want to get out of the gravel as quickly as possible.
I can only assume he was liking through drivers. Seafreeze, after now going quickest on a medium compound tires with a 112.1.
And
we already know one position for certain now, and that's Mike is going to be last.
So very unfortunate, very bad start for Mike 52 in this championship. A crash in the first race, and now a retirement out of qualifying. Not particularly sure exactly what happened. There was a yellow flag in Sector 3, so I can only assume it was a crash, though we were not able to see exactly what happened.
Kev Wood is currently on a lap.
Going through the final banked sector of Sector 3, that final banked hairpin, coming up to the penultimate turn, and then now the final turn. Let's see what lap time he will set in the Alfa Romeo car. It is going to be third fastest. It's a 1:13.8, but then again, the pole position time by Freeze, which is a 1:12.1, definitely a lot quicker than that, and he's also going off track.
I think he's just letting through other drivers. He is on the soft compound when Seafreeze was on the mediums.
So that says a lot, I think, about the lap time.
He's parked on track.
He is. He's just that. That's not. Oh. That's okay. I'm not too sure if he's too aware of his surroundings at the moment. It's not exactly the smartest move on the face here. Oh, he's coming out on the pit lane. Who is that? I think it's Flip Flop Fish. Yes, it is. It's getting held up by the Alfa Romeo car of that was dangerous. And now what's Flip Flop doing? I think he's letting by another driver. Something's going on with the Alfa Romeo. And now I think he's trying to warm up. I think he's trying to warm up his tires. Interesting. Flip Flop's on the soft tire.
Sweet Crown is out on his lap now, on his out lap. Last week's winner, as is Flip Flop. Sweet Crown on the hard compounded tire.
I'm surprised that Flip's actually on that soft compound tire. It's not going to last him very long. I'd be shocked.
An installation lap maybe is the only thing I can think of.
What is going on with the Alfa Romeo of Kev Wood? He's just going off track in pretty much every location. He's going extremely slow. I know. I don't think he has enough fuel. I think the fuel, the fuel light's on, so he can't accelerate. That's the only reason he could be going that slow. And
that's embarrassing.
That was trouble for Flip Flop Fish, who almost ran into him, had to slow down.
Yeah, and is on a hot lap now on the hard compound.
Let's just say not the best debut for Kev Wood into this series, as Sweet Crown 19 on his flying lap, looking to get on pole position for the second time in a row, as we're about to hit 10 minutes of qualifying to go. And Sweet Crown 19 in the Scuderia Ferrari car. Nice to see both red cars are actually on the grid, as Dempsey is in the other Ferrari car, hoping that Scuderia Ferrari can keep its lead in the championship right now. It is ahead of Mercedes in the championship. Usimi flying, yet to set a time, though he will set a time. Not too soon, as he lets by his teammate Flip Flop Fish in the Mercedes. Let's ride back on board with Sweet Crown 19, who's about to set a lap. Let's see what it's going to be. And it's only third fastest.
But that is on the hards. The deck is after putting in a very slow lap with a 1:34.
Yeah, I don't think that was a legitimate lap. Some things must have happened there. As Element 10 in the Toro Rosso setting a flying lap. And who was that? I believe it was Honos? Or maybe it was Mitch. It was Mitch who went just fifth fastest of a 1:12.9.
That's not a bad lap for Mitch.
And it's on the hards. And Element 10 is out.
He's after crashing right behind the deck, I think it was. I just saw it.
And there he is. He's right there on the side of the track. And look at this. There's a double stack in the pit lane as one of the Mercedes cars, Flip-Flop Fish, who's in the pits, and Yosemite Flying is waiting to get into the pits. And this is going to waste a lot of time for Yosemite Flying, delicate time to make setups. As Scar Logan goes second fastest on the grid right now in the Renault. That's pretty good, to say the least.
That lap was already set.
Still, well, I didn't see it. So
yeah. Oh, sorry. The lap was actually set by It's Always Chaos, which was the one who edited the scoreline, going sixth on the hards with a 113.035.
Not exactly the lineup I would have imagined seeing this early on, as the Pastor is a 1:30.6, and then Psycho Sane goes fastest. It's a 1:12.0, and that is a very good lap from the Red Bull car. Psycho Sane looking to make up for last race, which plummeted him down all the way to the bottom of the racetrack after a lap one incident. And Gurman's actually in the lobby right now. I don't know how he's not. Yeah, his car was taken by Dempsey. We assumed. Well, there he's gone from the session now. Came a little bit too late, unfortunately. 5:30 is the cutoff point for joining the lobbies. As Psycho Sane, fastest on track, C3s, which was on an out lap, now going into turn one, went a little wide. I'd have to gander that maybe his lap has already been invalidated as he went quite wide out of turn one. But he's fast. He's a little faster in sector 1, but not fast enough, I presume, to get on pole position anytime soon.
Now, Element 10 was the person who came fourth last week and qualified down in 7th. Now, he's after crashing out, so now he's going to begin 16th, which is going to hamper his championship first of all, but it'd be very interesting to see how well he'd be able to come through the field, as I think...
And Seafreeze goes off track and abandons his lap and comes back onto the track, but obviously not the lap he would like to set. On an out lap right now is Kev Wood. Now I'm hopefully with a full tank of fuel.
Hopefully. Pastor is also on a lap at the moment.
Albiku also was held up into the pits. His teammate, Psycho Sane, who came into the pits at the same time. A lot of drivers double stacking right now as one of the Ferraris is coming out, and I think it is Sweet Crown 19. Yes, it is. Sweet Crown 19 coming out of the pit lane, looking to set another lap, and this time is on the medium compound tire.
Pastor is about to set a lap. Surely it has to be greater than the one he's already set, as a 1:30.6.
Yeah, I don't think that's too difficult to beat, but we're gonna wait and see, as he's got basically no ERS. He's actually dawdling a little bit around the turns. It seems as though here comes 1:9, 1:10, 1:11, 1:12. So it's gonna be not necessarily the fastest time. It's a 1:14.4, and he actually doesn't really improve his place at all. He just improves his time.
His hards though are the oldest. The hards though are actually 3 laps old. At this.
I see.
On an old set of tires.
Still not exactly in place what I would have expected it out of Pastor.
No, definitely not. Surprise of the.
What I am surprised is Flip-Flop Fish, who's not yet set a time, as he has to get by his teammate Yosemite Flying, who lets him by. Yosemite Flying is all the way at the bottom, not yet setting a time in qualifying, and there's just about 5 minutes to go. And I don't propose that he'll be able to get 2 laps in this time period, so I think that Yosemite Flying's lap, if this is his last lap, will be his last lap. I don't think he'll be able to get another one in.
It's interesting to me that Sweet Crown 19 is 7/10 off Psycho Sane on the same compounded tires. That isn't something we regularly see from Sweet Crown.
And Flip-Flop Fish is coming around the final few turns, almost putting all 4 tires off track. Let's see what this time is going to be. It's going to be full position. It's a 1:11.5, and Flip-Flop Fish is on pole position in the Mercedes. And again, Flip-Flop Fish looking to get on pole position in this race. But here comes Sweet Crown 19, and this is big things for Sweet Crown 19, who's getting slipstream off his teammate Dempsey in the Ferrari, and this could pay big dividends for him to get on pole position in this race. About 4 minutes to go in qualifying as Dempsey lets Sweet Crown 19 by, and let's see what the Sector 2 might. It's going to be 5/10 down on his previous time, but that's still not going to be fast enough to get pole position. Sweet Crown only sitting 5th fastest at the moment. Let's see if he can improve his time drastically in the 3rd sector. Coming around the final few turns. Here's the penultimate turn, and now coming to the final turn. And let's see, Sweet Crown 19 looking to get on pole position. What's the time going to be? And it's only going to be a 12 flat, but that's going to put him in 2nd position. So he's challenging Flip Flop Fish 4, but not on pole position yet. And let's not remember, Psycho Sane is on the mediums, and he is on a current outlap. And there's a possibility with just hundredths of a second separating the two drivers that he could beat Sweet Crown 19 in 2nd position. We have a lot of drivers right now who are coming out, and we'll see if they can get faster on track.
All drivers in the top 4 are currently on the mediums. Logan is currently on the hards, while Mitch and Chaos are also on the medium tires.
And we're just about to come to 3 minutes remaining in qualifying. Sweet Crown 19 and Flip Flop Fish 4 in the top 2, but this time the positions are reversed. And now Chaos is going to come across the line to start his next lap. Or I think he did set a lap. It said it was on his out lap, and then it switched to his saying he's on a 13-0. No, I don't think he's... I think he...
Chaos just invalidated turn 1. I can confirm through the...
he has gone a little faster in Sector 1, but not nearly fast enough to be really challenging for any of the top 5 positions at the moment. As Seafreeze is going quite slow as he's getting ready to start his lap on his out lap right now. Let's see what the Alfa Romeo can do. We haven't seen an Alfa Romeo this high up on the grid in quite a bit, but let's see what he can do. Coming around the final turn, and he will set his final lap of qualifying. The top 2 are in the pits right now. They will not be able to go set another lap, I don't believe. And there comes Seafreeze, and coming out of the pits is, I believe it's the Deck 91 possibly. Yes, it is. It was the Deck 91. I'm going to ride on board of Seafreeze in the Alfa Romeo in overtake mode right now. DRS activated, climbing up in miles per hour, and he's going to get all the way up to before the hairpin 204. Actually, I think it flipped to 205 at one point. Nevertheless, very fast, low downforce setup.
In the last sector and ruined his lap. Logan can't improve. Mitch also pits on the hard compounded tire.
And Seafreeze is slower in Sector 2, not yet making up any time. Psycho Sane is faster in Sector 1, now coming on Sector 2. He is going to set another lap. We'll see what he can do. Flip Flop is on an out lap right now, actually. He might have time to get around for another lap. In fact, I think he will get enough time. And so is Sweet Crown 19, but I don't think Sweet Crown 19 is going to make it. He's a little bit too far back, and that might be a blunder by the Ferrari. And then Seafreeze goes faster than Flip Flop Fish by thousandths of a second. It's thousandths of a second. I believe it's 6 thousandths of a second. No, 5 thousandths of a second faster.
He went quicker than Sweet Crown, not Flip Flop.
Sorry, Sweet Crown 19, still 5 thousandths of a second faster than Sweet Crown 19, and he's alongside Flip Flop Fish 4 on the front row of the grid at the moment, and Sweet Crown 19 is trying to come around to set another lap. Only 30 seconds to go if he timed this well enough. And then it's second fastest for Psycho Sane. Now Sweet Crown's all the way down in 4th. Now there's only 20 seconds to go. Let's see if he can make it around the corner. I think he's just going to make it, and he'll set a final lap. Will Sweet Crown 19 put it on pole position, as he will get another lap in? That was very, very close. Qualifying is going to end now. Sweet Crown 19 in the Ferrari. DRS activated into turn 1. Let's see what he can do in Sector 1. Sector 1 is a very short portion of the track.
You see me flying goes 9th on the mediums.
And it's already 2/10 down for Sweet Crown 19. And who was that on the pit? On the straight? It was one of the Renaults, I believe. I think the Pastor, but he might have gone a little slipstream down the down that straight as the Pastor retires from the session, and Sweet Crown 19 looking to get a pretty good exit out of the hairpin. Let's see how much faster he's going to go, as coming on to Sector 3 now. coming through the slow little chicane. As coming on the Sector 3, let's see what that Sector 2 time is going to be. What's the difference? How much time has he made up? It's 0.5 of a second, and he is on a roll right now, challenging for pole position. Goes a little wide. I don't know if that's going to invalidate his time. I think he's still okay. Through the slow, caved-in hairpin. Now, coming around the final few turns, the penultimate turn and then the final turn, and he runs a little wide on there. I think he's still good to go. Let's see what this time is going to be by Sweet Crown 19, and it is going to be, no, he went slow. What happened for Sweet Crown 19?
Tire compound. He's on the softs, not the mediums. It would have entirely just...
I'm just interested, but I'm just surprised why maybe he realized at the last moment that he was on that tire. Why go out again? Maybe to scare them a little bit?
I think it was more of just practice, considering he didn't get much of a run in that entire session. But it would have made his race a hell of a lot harder being on the hard. Being on...
I'm just surprised he pushed that hard.
The softs than the mediums. So am I, to be fair, but what can you do? So...
Well, all that excitement ruined as he goes only 4 fastest on the grid. He's not going to be right next to Flip Flop Fish in the turn 1. And can I just say, I think turn 1 is going to be a little bit of carnage in this race of how things have gone so far.
I'm more interested for the hairpin, being perfectly honest. It's very interesting, though, that we got a different top 4 than what we were expecting, especially with Seafreeze and Mr. Psycho Sane. But we also addressed that Element 10 and Mike set no time after crashing out.
So they're way at the bottom of the grid.
Everybody in the top 6 will begin on the medium compounded tires. LBQ on the soft, and I think that was Mitch on the hards. Don't quote. No, I think.
Apologize, ladies and gentlemen. My headset came unattached from the mic as we're getting ready for the start of the race. Flip Flop Fish on pole position in his Mercedes. And he will look to become a race winner in WSR after a last lap incident. Had him winner on the race, but after the race, after review, found him not to be the winner of the race. So hoping to keep out of trouble as we get ready.
The winner here last year was Sweet Crown 19, so he is technically the favorite, I suppose you could assume.
But fourth in on the grid, is that going to be too much of a... Is he going to be too far back, you think, to be really challenging these other drivers? Because they are quite fast. You know, they're a lot faster than I knew them to be.
It depends on how quick he can get through the field, I suppose.
And here comes the formation lap, and as always, we'll go through your starting lineup for the 2020 German Grand Prix. Flip Flop Fish is on pole position in the Mercedes car. Seafreeze in an Alfa Romeo, and that's the first time we've seen that in a while, in second position. Psycho Sane in the Red Bull in third. Sweet Crown 19, his championship rival Flip Flop Fish, in fourth position. Chaos in fifth position, followed by Scarlogan LPC in sixth. El Biku 1 in the other Red Bull car in seventh. Mitch 791 in the McLaren in eighth. And you see me flying in the Mercedes car in ninth. Tapaster is in 10th position in the Renault. Kev Wood 11B is in the Renault, and I believe he has already ruined his formation lap as there's no delta set, so I do believe he just was put back onto the starting line. And the Deck 91 in the Racing Point in 12th. Honos in 13th in the Haas car. Formula Johnny in the McLaren in 14th. Dempsey in the Ferrari in 15th. Element 10 in 16th in the Toro Rosso car. And Mike 52 in the Racing Point in 17th. And in the final position, the Haas of Speed Kills 3 is actually going to get into this race. So not in his usual Alfa Romeo car due to what was supposed to be a reserve driver. But Speed Kills 3, nevertheless, will start in the race. He'll just be in the Haas. As 34 laps.
Can we point out the gap between Speed Kills 3 and Mike? It looks like Speed Kills is trying to gain an advantage by having his tyres warmer than everybody else by having about a 5-second gap.
I'm not too sure. So that just means it's going to take forever to get the race started. As there's a lot of drivers who didn't get onto their formation laps, as they're all lining up for the start right now for this race. Flip-flop fish on pole position. Sea Freeze alongside him. Sweet Crown 19 all the way in the back. As Speed Kills 3 lines up into his grid start, and we're going to get start for the ready of the German Grand Prix. As the lights will come on for the start of this race. And there are the lights coming on, and it's time to bring the action. And a good start for Flip Flop Fish as he gets little wheel spin as Psycho saying it's going to challenge him in the turn 1. But it's going to be Sea Freeze who gets a good run out of turn 1 and he gets ahead of him. And it's going to be the Ferrari of Flip Flop Fish who stays in 4th position but now getting challenged by Psycho Sane, and Sweet Crown 19 gets ahead of Psycho Sane into 3rd position. And now it's going to be Flip Flop Fish though who stays in the lead of this race. Sea Freeze keeps it. But Sweet Crown 19 will get challenged by Psycho Sane to the hairpin, and I think he might dive on the inside. He's going to look at least, and no, now he's going to try around the outside. And oh, there's contact from Sea Freeze and Sweet Crown 19, and there's contact again. The hairpin seems generally okay for most of the drivers, as now it looks to be Chaos who looks to get ahead of Psycho Sane in the Red Bull going on the inside into the chicane. He cut the corner a little bit, now pushing Psycho Sane off track a little bit, still side by side through that turn. Now getting pushed off a little bit is Chaos from Psycho Sane, and a lot of cars going through, and now throw on the outside is Chaos.
I'd like to point out that Logan has been involved in an incident and is now going very slowly after losing 12 positions when Speed Kills 3.
What happened to Obiku?
8 positions.
Obiku is dropping all the way down the rest of the grid. Did he have an issue? He went off track, I think, maybe, and oh, he almost had an incident there as well as Honos gets ahead of him in the 15th.
So Logan, LBQ, and Mike are now having all issues, and Mike has front wing down.
And the deck is out of the race!
Crashed into the side of?
Mike 52 is into the pits now.
He has crashed, I just saw it there at the last second. And you see me flying for once hasn't got from wing damage on the first lap.
Yeah, so he is able to start in this race as Tapastor goes on the inside of Mitch 791 and gets himself in the 6th position. A very good overtake on the hairpin. And Speed Kills is after gaining 9 positions. Was he the instigator of any of those incidents, I wonder? I'm not too sure, but Element 10 going side by side of Dempsey. Toro Rosso versus Ferrari as Element 10 gets ahead of Dempsey and puts himself into the points in 10th position. Dempsey will look to make a move possibly on the inside as he's looking as closing the door is Element 10 now on the hairpin. You'll keep it behind him. And Flip Flop Fish, I think, is running away with it a little bit from Sea Freeze, who is almost already out of a second. But now DRS will be activated on this lap. Sweet Crown 19 is closer to Sea Freeze, and Sea Freeze is the Flip Flop Fish. And could we see an overtake possibly as we go down that DRS straight? But no, actually, the gaps are now relatively the same. I think Sweet Crown 19 out of a bad exit out of turn 1. Now coming on to that DRS straight. And Formula Johnny has had a crash.
Did he spin?
I'm not too sure, but he's out of the race right now. As I'm trying to see, maybe we can see Mike 52's perspective as he's coming around Sector 3. But I think we're not going to be able to see it in time. He must have had an issue in the turn 1.
I'm assuming it's turn 1. Kev Wood also
it is. There's a yellow flag waving in turn 1, and the car has finally just disappeared.
Kev Wood is after getting a 3-second time penalty. The turn 1 is going to be vicious for that today.
So a McLaren and a Racing Point out of the race very early on. Only 16 cars left on the grid right now. As Flip Flop Fish is in the lead of this race.
The top 4 are very close, and Sweet Crown seems to be being gained on by It's Always Chaos.
I was just noticing that as well. But now it's Sweet Crown who's gaining on Sea Freeze.
Psycho Sane is after dropping off.
And look at this, Flip-Flop Fish had a very bad run out of turn 1, and now he's about to get jumped by his rival, Sweet Crown 19, going side by side. They make contact. And now around the outside, Flip-Flop Fish now getting put on the inside, and now they're gonna be 3 abreast going down this straight, as it looks like Chaos is gonna get into it as well.
Flip-Flop might have just been the biggest loser here now out of all of this. Oh, contact!
Oh no! And oh my goodness! Huge crash! And what has happened there? Sweet Crown is out of the race! And that is huge contact. I was on board with one of the drivers, so I didn't see exactly what happened. Seafreeze 22 has a 5-second penalty, but Sweet Crown 19 is out of this race. And Flip-Flop Fish is in the lead. But now here comes Chaos.
Also has extreme front wing damage. Chaos has extreme front
and now
wing
Psycho
damage,
Sane goes on the inside.
Psycho Sane, oh no, he doesn't actually, never mind. Chaos has front wing damage, and it looks like it's going to be Psycho Sane and Flip-Flop Fish who are the only 2 people to come out of that incident without damage.
No, Flip-Flop does have damage. His end plate is gone as he goes to the pits. As Psycho Sane will take the lead of this race in the Red Bull. But drama, absolute drama, as is Chaos and Flip-Flop going to the pits to replace their damage, but that is absolutely insane. Sweet Crown 19 is out of this race, and somebody barreled into the hairpin and wasn't really braking very well, and that is unbelievable scenes in the German Grand Prix. Sweet Crown 19, I don't believe the last time I've ever seen him DNF, is out of this race.
This is loading up to be an absolutely mental race. Kev Wood,
and look at this. There's contact. It looked to be element 10 in one of the red Haas car of Speed Kills 3, and they're going to go side by side in that turn. Oh my goodness, that's absolutely amazing. Now on the outside is Dempsey, and they're both going wide side by side, and now the Toro Rosso going to look in. Oh, there's more contact. Element 10, and look at this. This is absolutely amazing. Lots of contact, getting very personal with each other, trying to make overtakes happen. Maybe not where they should be making them happen. And they're so close. It's 6 through 9, very close together in this race. And Element 10 gets a 5-second penalty, a corner cut for gaining a position. And no idea how that happened. He must have been off track and side by side with somebody. I can only assume that was similar to the Sweet Crown 19 incident.
I think that was when he was forced out wide by Speed Kills 3.
And here comes Speed Kills 3 on the inside of Dempsey in the Ferrari, and he gets ahead of him, but there's front wing damage for that Haas car. Surprising he was able to make that overtake.
So the lead is now, the battle for the lead is now between Mitch, DePaster, and Psycho Sane. DePaster and Mitch, and oh, you see me flying after going wide at the hairpin. And after getting a 3-second time penalty for it. Speed Kills 3 is after getting past Element 10, and it looks like Element 10 is also after getting passed by Seafreeze as well. Yes, so Speed
and now Speed Kills 3 has issues out of that turn, and Seafreeze trying to look to make something happen, but Psycho Sane is in the lead of this race. Mitch is behind Tapastri, who locks up into the hairpin and goes a little wide, and that is just going to give more advantage to Mitch in the McLaren, currently on a podium position.
Speed Kills 3 has front wing damage on the left-hand side.
And I noticed that as Seafreeze is trying to make... Oh, that was very close. Speed Kills 3 got a really bad run onto the apex of that turn. And now coming in the turn 1, they're going to get very, very close as... Oh, this is getting really dicey as there's a lot of people are going to have DRS down this straight, and I'm assuming Seafreeze will try to make a move, but no, a little bit too far back. But look how close all these guys are. It's a train of cars, and down this DRS straight, I can only presume is going to be absolute havoc. As DRS flap opens for Seafreeze, surely an overtake before the hairpin.
And Mitch is into second after overtaking DePaster.
And here comes Damus and Element 10 side by side into the hairpin, and there's more drivers going wide as a bunch of drivers go wide into the hairpin, and what would have seemed to have been an easy move, Seafreeze somehow through all this has ended up all the way in the back of those drivers in 9th position.
What is going on in this race?
And Mitch is ahead of Tapastor, and now Tapastor is looking to get it close to him as well.
Dempsey is gaining on Element 10. And Honos is gaining on Dempsey. Speed Kills is back to been overtaken by Sea Freeze this time now. The front wing damage definitely isn't helping Speed Kills.
And look at this! Oh my goodness! That had to be on purpose! As the two drivers go into the wall and Speed Kills 3 went right off the track and has taken out Sea Freeze and the Alfa Romeo, and that is unbelievable! That had to be on purpose. There seemed to be a complete intent to go into him.
Definitely. I just, after seeing the replay on your screen there on the live stream, and that has to be on purpose. That will definitely be investigated after the race. And it's a sad day for Kevwood, who's 50 seconds behind the next.
But he will finally overtake Seas Free and Speed Kills, and unbelievable scenes. And there's a safety car deployed. Safety car was deployed after that crash, and now the drivers will try to go into the pits as soon as possible and get on a new set of tires if it gives them an advantage. But this will, of course, bunch up the rest of the pack, so Kevwood will have a easier time making up that 35-second gap.
I wonder will Mitch, Pastor, and Psychosane go into the pits? I don't think Mitch will, but just because he's on the hard compound and mediums won't go that far. So I'm expecting Psychosane might and
Psychosane is in the pits, and Mitch will not go into the pits.
So is the Pastor. You See Me Flying does not go into the pits.
So he will take second position.
And Element 10 is into the pits.
And Mike 52 has left the session as well now, finally, after
Logan's into the pits.
Lots of drivers in the pits. And
into the pits.
And again into the pits. And he's on those mediums right now.
Chaos is about to overtake a fair amount of people in the pit lane on the hard compound tires.
Mitch is in the lead of this race in the McLaren on that hard compound tire, and what a better... There isn't really too much of a better place to be. Now, did Mitch start on the hards, or did he...
He did.
He did, okay, so we'll have to make another pit stop, but he will be on the mediums later on, or he might just choose to go onto the softs if he goes late into the race, which might not be a bad idea for him.
I'm not entirely sure now, but You See Me Flying may have been screwed by strategy again.
He is in second, so in terms of being in the position, he's nice. Yeah, he is on the mediums, though.
If he's on the hards, it'd be a different story. And also, the Pastors after going out to the softs, is he going to try and make a move on Psychosane and You See Me Flying? Because they won't go very far, but it might be just an attempt to just get track position.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, absolute carnage in this German Grand Prix. We've seen action from the top of the grid all the way to the bottom. And of course, what could only be assumed as a suicide run into Sea Freeze by Speed Kills 3. Absolutely unacceptable racing that, of course, again, as we said, will be investigated after the race.
The incident at the hairpin will most likely be investigated as well, just to clarify everything. Kevwood is currently the only person who's not under the safety car line, but will gain a lot from this. Oh, Element 10, 5-second time penalty, a severe collision with Elbiku. Has Elbiku got damage? Yes, he has. Elbiku has damage on the front right now just because of hitting Element 10. Element 10 has received a 5-second time penalty for that. And we're still waiting for Kevwood to gain at the back of the train as Mitch is leading the safety car line.
All the drivers bunched up now as still safety car is deployed. Lap 10 of this race of 34.
The fastest lap at the moment is Flip Flop Fish with a 1 minute 15.3.
But he's all the way down in 11th.
Mitch and You See Me Flying have currently gained 7 positions from where they began. And Dempsey has gained 9. The biggest loser in all of this is actually Flip Flop, who lost 10 positions.
Well, he was on pole position, so yeah, he lost quite a lot for sure.
Everybody in the top from 3 down to 12 have made at least 1 pit stop, and first and second have not. The top 2 are the only 2 people not to pit. Safety car is in this lap.
Safety car in this lap. Mitch will be the safety car essentially, as he will line them up stern ahead for turn 1. And if we could see the
LBQ, severe collision with Scar Logan. 5-second time penalty. Has Scar Logan got from wing damage? Yes, he has.
And coming around that final turn, and green flag as Mitch gets ready, and there's already a spin, and somebody has crashed into the wall, and I think it was Chaos. Yes, it was Chaos who crashed into the wall, and Chaos is out of this session. Drama all the way at the very beginning of the start of this race as Dempsey is on the outside of Psycho Sane, but he doesn't make it happen. And now Pastor is challenging UC Flying as we assumed he would on that soft compound tire. And now slipstreaming UC Flying. They're going to come up to the hairpin side by side. Already carnage as Chaos is out of this race as well, diving on the inside, and now he's going to hit Mitch on the hairpin. And again, another driver misjudging the hairpin, and no driver has been able to get that right as you see me flying now is keeping second position, and Psycho Sane is now going to go on the inside on that hard compound tire. There's front wing damage, and who was that? That's Flip Flop Fish, who came onto the track a little dangerously and came out around with, or was that? No, it was UC Final, I think, went a little wide, as this is absolute carnage, but it is the Mitch 79 who is in the lead of this race, and it's Psycho Sane in second position now, and Pastor is in the Renault in fourth position, and Dempsey and Honos are battling out as well, and it looks like Dempsey has front wing damage, and yes, one of his end plates is gone.
LBQ also still has damage, holding up Flip Flop Fish. To Pastor, 3-second time penalty. Element 10, 3-second time penalty. LBQ, 3-second time penalty. This is going to be a penalty heavy race just off turn 1 alone.
And now look at Element 10 going on the inside of Dempsey. And now going around the outside, and he'll make the position. 6th position for him. And it's actually Mitch who's gaining.
You see me flying. Take Pastor and you see me flying.
The move isn't done just yet. UC Fine, will he look in the hairpin? He's going to look, and there's a lockup from Pastor, and UC Fine will look, but now, no, I think they just, oh, maybe in the back with the Ferrari, and look at this. This has been personal all the way through as Dempsey on the inside into the turn. Let's see how close they'll get. Will there be contact? And no, but he does go a little wide, and now look at this. Flip Flop Fish has to be screaming right now as he is like getting held up, and now Dempsey, almost lags into the back of, into the front of Flip Flop Fish. Into the hairpin they go. Now will Flip Flop Fish dive on the outside? Yes, he will. And will he try to get ahead of Dempsey? He is still side by side of him, but I think he's going to make the move, and yes, he will. At a fantastic move by Flip Flop Fish. Now up into 8th position. DRS has finally been enabled, and now Flip Flop Fish has a run on Albiku. And will he look onto turn 1? No, he won't, but he might look before the long straightaway as Albiku. No overtake made.
I'd like to bring your attention.
Here comes Honos on UCME flying. As they're still going side by side. Ooh, they're getting really close. There is a little bit of wheel banging, but it's UCME Flying who will go on the inside, I presume, of Honos, who will give him enough space. And still side by side. Coming out of the exit of the hairpin, Honos gets the better exit, and he will make the position on UCME Flying.
Albiku and Dempsey are still fighting, but Flip Flop Fish is now finally after getting ahead of Albiku and of Dempsey, and he's trying to get ahead of Albiku. Albiku gets another 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings.
And he's going off the track all over the place. He's trying to get ahead of who seems to be Flip Flop Fish in the Mercedes.
But he is from wing damage, so why hasn't he pit yet? This is like a You See Me Flying all over again.
And Dempsey, 23 seconds behind Albiku. The bottom 3 separated by lots of seconds, to say the least. As Honos now trying to catch up to Pastor and get on the podium, as Mitch has a 3-second time penalty. Psycho Sane, he's actually been gaining time on Psycho Sane, but now that might be in question for the lead of this race, as there's a 3-second time penalty hanging over him. But then again, I think, is Psycho Sane clean yet, or does he have a 3-second of his own?
I'm not entirely sure. I can check that in a second, but I'd like to point out that Element 10 and Pastor are both on the soft compounded tires, and they will have to make another stop.
And here comes Honos on Pastor in the turn 1, into the hairpin, and they're going to be still side by side out of the exit. And to Pastor and Honos, now it's Honos who gets ahead of him. But I think there might have been contact. No, was there not? To Pastor has front wing damage.
You See Me Flying is after dropping from second down to sixth since the safety car. And Flip Flop Fish is now gaining on You See Me Flying, as it looks like it's going to be a Merc on Merc battle for the first time this season.
And what can be said about this race? I'm getting coughs is now. Oh, it looks like actually pretty extensive wing damage for Pastor, who has decided not to pit yet, as Element 10 is catching up to him. And now, even with DRS, Element 10 is going to go side by side in the turn 1 with him, and this is going to get close, and he gets pushed off track by Element 10. And this is going to get a little personal here, as let's see if Element 10 is going to go on the inside. No. But he gets a bad exit.
El Biku just served his 5-second penalty, by the way, in the pit lane.
And Element 10 gets ahead of Pastor.
You See Me Flying can go to the end on this compounded tire.
Yeah, he is on that hard compound tire. Maybe he will go to the end.
Mitch still has to make a pit stop, so your effective race leader at the moment is Psycho Sane.
But the big question is, will he go onto the softs or the mediums? How long does he want to wait on this tire?
He wants to be on this tire until at least lap 20, and then do the last 14 laps, hopefully, on the medium compound. I would advise, just having a look at your stream, to put the tires up on the side. There's a bit of a call for that at the moment.
It is the mediums for Mitch. It's the hards for Mitch. It's the hards for Psycho Sane. It's mediums for Honos. Element 10 is on that soft compound tire. Pastor is on the soft, and Dempsey is on that soft compound tire. So 3 men on softs. Dempsey, note, is on the newest softs. El Biku is on new hard compound tires. Majority of drivers are on the hards at the moment.
In order for Flip Flop Fish to take the lead of the championship, which he can do today, he has to outscore Sweet Crown 19 by 7 points.
And a lockup by Mitch into the hairpin. Maybe that might ruin the tire life even more, but hopefully he can make it to lap 20, as Psycho Sane is still dropping behind him, though, a little bit in terms of time, as it's 1.4 seconds separating the two, as Element 10 is catching up to Flip Flop Fish, who's brought himself all the way up to 4th.
Pastor's after pitting for hard compounded tires. I don't think they might be able to go to the end. I think they will, actually, yeah. 20 laps, yeah. 20 laps would be doable, I think, on the hards. Mitch currently has a 1.1 second lead, and then Psycho Sane has another 2.4 to Honos behind. Element 10 does have DRS on Flip Flop Fish at the moment, and You See Me Flying is currently in 6th on the hard compound tires, 25 seconds behind Element 10.
And now coming on to this DRS zone as Flip Flop Fish runs it up on the grass a little bit. Now, I think Element 10's a little bit too far back to possibly make an overtake onto the hairpin. As he has DRS, he's coming down the straight. He is gaining a little bit on Flip Flop Fish, but it's a negligible amount of time as he does not get close to him in time to make a move. And now a bad run into the hairpin.
And Dempsey got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I gotta check if Psycho Sane has any penalties.
Well, Psycho Sane is getting very close to Mitch 79, who is making a lot of mistakes, and Psycho Sane might be able to overtake Mitch before he even makes a pit stop. As the Red Bull coming up to the orange McLaren, let's see what he can do. Coming into the hairpin, they're going to come onto this lap, and Psycho Sane will obviously have DRS. Let's see how close he can get to him, and then hopefully make an overtake into the hairpin. And then Mitch goes into the pits, lap 17, a little early, but I'm assuming he'll go onto the mediums and go to the end of the race.
You should be able to go to the end.
And Honos now in second, and Flip Flop Fish is into the podium position. Honos going very slow out of turn 1, and possibly Flip Flop will look to make a move, but no, a little bit too far back. But then Honos leaves the door wide open, and Flip Flop will try to make a look, but then not going into it enough. But now, does he have DRS open? Yes, he does. He's going to go on the inside of Honos, and he's going to make the move well before the hairpin. And now Flip Flop, on that hard compound tire, has found himself in second position in this race, somehow has come from the depths of hell back all the way up into a podium position, and Psycho Sane is in the lead.
Mitch came out in fifth on the medium compound, only 16 seconds behind Element, and Element has to make a pit stop. So I believe Mitch will overtake Element and possibly
Honos.
If Honos has to make another stop, which I believe he does. So Mitch could get a podium in his very first race.
That would be very, very good for the McLaren driver, who sits in fifth at the moment. Yosemite Flying is sitting in sixth position in the Mercedes car, 9 seconds behind. 2 seconds behind him is DePaster and Scar Logan, both Renaults, 7th and 8th right now. I apologize for that.
No penalties.
My Hot Pocket lunch is making revenges on me again. But as Honos is sitting in third position right now, as the Mitch will get ahead of Element 10, who goes into the pits.
What's his name? Psycho Sane has absolutely no penalties at the moment, but Mitch has a 3-second time penalty, as we saw before. And
I would like to know, Flip Flop is actually gaining on Psycho Sane at the moment, even on that hard.
I'm not sure if Flip Flop has any penalties. I'll quickly check.
And it's a lockup from Psycho Sane into the turn.
Flip Flop has no penalties, I don't believe, and no warnings either.
Which is interesting considering the carnage that happened in the hairpin.
Honda's is after getting a 3-second time penalty.
And
the big gainers at the moment in this race are actually Mercedes, considering UCME Flying is also getting a fair amount of points.
As long as he keeps that position, but Element 10 is closing up on UCME Flying, and he is on the medium tires, new mediums.
Yeah.
So that should be at least one position dropped. I presume Element 10 will get ahead of UCME Flying. I don't think this is a battle UCME Flying should even attempt to fight.
But knowing UCME Flying, he definitely will. DePaster is gaining on Element 10, though, I believe. Well, he's thereabouts. He's close enough, only about 3 seconds. Yellow flag into the third sector. I'll see what's going on. DePaster is after getting yellow. Is after getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings also. Element 10 will have DRS on the back straight, going for an overtake on UCME Flying. UCME Flying should defend to the inside, I assume. No? Okay.
And they're going side by side into the hairpin, and it's Element 10 who goes on the inside, and then a switchback by UCME Flying. But again, I think it was a little futile to try to battle.
Yeah, especially when he's on a 4-lap older hard tires compared to fresh mediums for Element 10. I think an interesting fight at the end of this race could be the battle between Honos, Mitch, and Element 10 for the final podium position. Psycho Sane and Flip Flop Fish, by the way, are very close into turn 1. No, sorry, turn 2. They're side by side going into turn 3. They're past turn 3. Flip Flop will have. Oh no, it's actually Psycho Sane who has DRS, and Honos also has DRS on Flip Flop. This could go 3 abreast. No, I think Honos is a bit too far back, and Psycho Sane is able to keep it ahead of Flip Flop.
Just about keeping it ahead of him.
Yeah, but I think Flip Flop kind of underestimated where the DRS activation point was. He went for the move too early into that corner. Past the Merc Grandstand into the next corner.
And it is Flip Flop Fish getting close. Ooh, looking on the outside of the hairpin into the
penultimate corner.
Coming to the penultimate corner just now, and then coming on to the final turn, and they're going to get very close. Flip Flop Fish will have DRS down the straight, and let's see. Both of them are going to have DRS, and now it's going to be Psycho Sane, obviously, who will get attacked pretty severely. And here comes Flip Flop Fish on the inside. No, looking on the inside. Teasing Psycho Sane a little bit, as maybe looking to make him defend, but Psycho Sane didn't catch the bait. But now, obviously, he'll have to make some sort of defense, as Flip Flop Fish is going to try to challenge Psycho Sane, and into the hairpin he goes. And let's see if he'll get ahead of him before the hairpin. And there is a lap car. It is Kev Wood 11B. And now going really wide is Flip Flop Fish Honos. Behind him has to, actually I think he had to compensate a little bit for Flip Flop going wide. And now that lap car, Kev Wood, is not doing the best job of getting out of the way. And let's see if now he does let him go by.
Yeah, he did leave the session earlier on. I think that actually held up Honos a bit, because I think he's a bit further back from Flip Flop Fish.
He was close to him in the hairpin. Flip Flop ran very wide into the hairpin, so I'd be surprised if he lost time to him then. I think he lost time at a separate turn.
The Pastor's only a second and a half down behind You See Me Flying. You See Me Flying is now back to 2 seconds behind Element 10. And this fighting between Flip Flop, Psycho Sane, and Honos is after helping Mitch trying and decrease the gap up to the front three, so it could be a battle to the end for the top four. Into the hairpin, Flip Flop Fish is maybe going to go for the switch back again. Unable to do it again. Honos is still a bit further back. Mitch is gaining on Honos still by about a tenth a lap, I think. Maybe.
And here goes Flip Flop Fish on Psycho Sane in the lead of this race right now, under siege. Flip Flop Fish and Psycho Sane trading position, still going side by side. Psycho Sane gets ahead of him. Flip Flop Fish is going to slot behind him now into the hairpin. Will he try to make a move? Looking around the outside, but he goes into the gravel, and Honos is going to get ahead of him. But that's going to cause Mitch to gain a boatload of time on him, and that was a big mistake from Flip Flop Fish, who tried to go for a gap that just wasn't there, and now 2 seconds have been gained by Mitch.
The gap is down to 6.7 to between Mitch and Flip Flop Fish. This is going to be close.
It's going to be 10 laps, including this one. And Mitch goes fastest.
Yes, he did actually.
1:14.1, I believe it was.
Now behind the lap car. Ooh, that lap car let him through in a very weird position.
But he did let him through nonetheless.
The Pastor is very close to You See Me Flying, who has DRS and may be able to make a move into turn 6
into the hairpin. Let's see if he can do it. DRS will be activated. We're going to watch this for just a little bit. Let's see. DRS activated. You See Me Flying, hugging the racing line, and this, he's gaining on him by a lot, and You See Me Flying will have to take a defensive route, I think. He might look, and he's going to take the inside, and no move made. He's going to switch around to Pastor, but not able to get better traction. You See Me Flying out of the turn, but now, coming into that chicane, will he try to look somewhere else to make the move, and will he go on the inside? And no.
If you go to You See Me Flying, you can actually see that he's actually struggling very hard on his ERS in the bottom, if you can see on his wheel.
I did have my telemetry on, and yeah, he's only got nothing. He's got no ERS in that car right now. He's keeping it in 2, which is medium. Which is why
the Pastor is gaining on him so much, because of how full his bar is.
He's on full, and he'll obviously put it in the overtake when he gets onto the straights. Though right now he's keeping it in medium, so maybe he's waiting. No, he is putting it in overtake now, as this will be full attack mode. And was there an issue?
Yeah, a lockup and slightly clipped the curb.
And to Pastor, that might have ruined to Pastor's car. And look at this, Scar Logan.
And Logan's out.
And he crashed into the wall on the exit of the pits. And that is bad news for Scar Logan. One of the Renaults is out, and to Pastor now the only one is Dempsey, goes too wide in the turn 1. And now there are only 11 drivers to go. Kevin Wood is the last driver to finish off. Actually, no, there's only 10 drivers, so everybody who's currently on the track right now is going to score points. And inconsistency in this German Grand Prix, a lot of drivers not able to drive up to a standard that would be considered acceptable, and then since then have crashed.
I would point out that Kev Wood did leave the session, so if he gets classified or not for points is an interesting debate. And Logan has left the session. Hanos is very close. Flip Flop and Hanos are going to have a fight again soon, and Mitch is now on the exact same straight as him, going into Parabolica, then into the hairpin of turn 6. Let's see how he takes the hairpin, if he's able to gain a bit of time. Takes the hairpin, hits the apex nicely.
And look at Flip Flop Fish. He's going to look on Honos. Gets close, but no cigar.
Into the Mercedes grandstand. Not really able to do much, but might be able to shove it up the inside. A very irregular overtaking position if he tries it.
And Flip Flop Fish coming on this hairpin again. Will he look on the inside? No. He'll get very close to Mitch, but no, nothing. Very, very close is Flip Flop Fish to Honos.
I think Flip Flop Fish is actually just...
And here goes in the pits is Honos into the pits, and that will promote Mitch into the podium.
But he will come out ahead of Element 10.
Yes. Will he? How long is the pit lane?
About 20 seconds.
Oh, no, I saw now. Yeah, it went from 14 to 21.
Yeah. The gap of 14 was to Mitch.
Lap 27 of 34.
Actually, yeah, Hanos is out about 8 seconds ahead of Element 10. So Element 10 and Hanos could have an interesting fight. Hanos is on the soft compounded tires. This could be an interesting fight for the top 4 at the end of this race.
Mitch is 6.4 seconds behind Flip Flop Fish, who is gaining right now on Psycho Sane. Could you believe, after everything that has happened, Flip Flop Fish would be able to come back and crawl all his way up to win another race? That would be incredible.
Flip Flop Fish, in my opinion, though, at this current point in time, seems to be taking things a bit too impatiently. He's not really... He's taking moves in irregular corners and risking having another crash. Would it just be a better idea for him to just sit behind the car and just overtake with DRS? It's also interesting to note that that Flip Flop Fish and Psycho Sane are on the exact same tire life. Mitch is on 10 lap younger.
And DRS is on here. Let's see. Is he going to move on Psycho Sane? No, but they're going to be very close on this DRS straight. Now, the big key, will Flip Flop make the move prior to the hairpin? I think he's close enough to make that the case. Psycho Sane will just have to sit and watch. Now onto the hairpin. Let's see what he can do. And Psycho Sane is defending on the inside. A great switchback move by Flip Flop Fish, but Psycho Sane still has the lead, and he kept it. That's amazing. An amazing fake out by Flip Flop Fish. Still, though, Psycho Sane able to keep the lead of this race, but now only 6/10 separating them. Is it only a matter of time before Flip Flop gets ahead of him?
Flip Flop should... Well, they're on even tires, and Flip Flop seems to be a bit impatient, and also with the amount of traffic he's having to put up with, it's going to be interesting.
But to be fair, Psycho Sane does not have good ERS management. He's only at 38%, and Flip Flop is at 84%.
I was about to say that, actually, yes, and it is very, very noticeable.
And now he's on 0. He's going to have almost 90. And now DRS activated into overtake into turn 1. Let's see. And he puts it back to 1, now back to 4. DRS activated. Flip Flop should make a move on Psycho Sane. And no. Keeps it behind him, though he looked a little bit on the inside.
Hanos is after going quickest on the softs. El Biku is now within 0.8 of a second.
And here comes Flip Flop Fish side by side with Psycho Sane, and now takes the lead of this race. Psycho Sane might look on the inside, and no, Psycho Sane looked a little bit. Maybe no, did not get a better exit. Flip Flop Fish gets ahead of him, and now he'll just look to extend that gap. Can Psycho Sane mount any other challenges? As lap 29 of 34 we go, and this has been an absolutely astounding race from start to finish, and I can't believe some of the things we've seen, but nevertheless, it is...
Dempsey's after getting a 3-second time penalty. Albiku is pit. He might be going for quickest lap. That's the only thing I can think of to do right now if you're that far down the order, because he has enough of a gap to Kev Wood to not be overtaken, so he might as well just go for the quickest lap and get an extra point.
Let's see. Psycho Sane will be in the slipstream and DRS range of Flip Flop Fish, and he's going to get close to him. coming up to this DRS straight, this parabolica. Let's see. DRS activated, and oh no, Psycho Sane drops it on the grass. That might have ruined any chances of a battle, but let's see. Psycho Sane is going to come close. He's still going to get close. Let's see if he can make it. No. But if he hadn't dropped it on the grass, then maybe he would have been able to get an overtake. Because there was a moment there. Lap 30 of 34. Another lockup from Psycho Sane. And now Psycho Sane and Flip Flop Fish are now almost a second apart. And Psycho Sane might just be keeping it where it is at the moment, unless he can maybe catch up to him. But he's only got 40% on his ERS, and it's Flip Flop Fish who's got all to play with. He's got almost 90% on his ERS, as he has all the energy to play with. Psycho Sane doesn't really have too much to go with right now. The battle, and he up 1.2 seconds is that gap now, so the gap's starting to form a little bit more. The Mitch, though, is in a very good position in the McLaren in third. And you got to say, Mitch, the surprise driver for McLaren, is going to put it on the podium as long as he doesn't crash.
What is very interesting, though, is just after having a look at the results from last week and having a look at the results of right now, as things stand, Mr. Psycho Sane and Flip Flop Fish will overtake Sweet Crown in the championship.
So Sweet Crown, to no fault of his own, I might add, is going to be down in third position in the championship, a position I don't think we ever expected him to be in.
Maybe lower, but I haven't done the full maths yet. It'll be interesting to see if he can come back from this gap with such a short amount of time left in the calendar. Because it definitely doesn't help that Flip Flop Fish came second in the last race and they're about to win this one when Sweet Crown only won the last one.
Money is on the line in this race. The winner of this championship will go on to win a grand prize of $250, and the top three will also gain their own cash prizes. So if you want to know why it's getting so personal between the drivers, there's a lot on the line here. For some drivers, this could be a lot of money. And now it's Flip Flop Fish who's in the lead of this race, looking to get into the lead of the championship and maybe be that man who wins that cash prize. Remember, this league, it's all about getting the win and getting that cash prize at the end of the championship. It means a lot to these drivers, and that's why I think some of the drivers are getting so physical. As Psycho Sane now dropping back quite considerably from Flip Flop Fish, and at that lead of the race is pretty much in the bag.
What I've also realized is that with Psycho Sane's result, it also means that Red Bull will also jump. It means Merc and Red Bull will jump. Yeah, will jump Ferrari in the championship as well.
Unbelievable. Dempsey only in 8th position right now. It's only going to be a few points for the red team. And what started as a great start for the Scuderia went from great to very, very bad. It's going to drop from first to third in the championship. Lap 33. We're on the penultimate lap of this race. Flip Flop Fish leads Psycho Sane by 3 seconds now, as the Mitch, who was getting close, but not close enough to mount a challenge on the Psycho Sane, 2.6 seconds, the gap. It would be interesting to note Obiku, who got lapped by Mitch, has still kept relatively close to him. He's on that soft compound tire, and he's got full ERS, and he's kept close to Mitch pretty much this entire time. So I think Mitch hasn't really been gaining too much time at all.
Mitch on Psycho Sane, this isn't really a battle worth it for Mitch at the moment, because it will kind of speed up Honos, considering Mitch does have time penalties when Psycho Sane and Flip Flop do not.
Now, does Honos have any time penalties?
Yes, he has a hell of a lot of time penalties. He could drop behind Element 10 depending on what happened with Element 10 earlier on in the race.
Now, will you see me flying? Would he get ahead? I don't know if I don't think there's that many penalties. That's over 20 seconds.
That safety car period and the corner cuts at turn 1 were a bit extreme today, but I think UCB Flying has got at least one penalty.
We'll have to see.
It'll
lap 34 of 34.
Last lap.
Flip Flop Fish. Well, I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, it's not definitive if Flip Flop Fish will keep the lead of this race. There was, of course, additions at a hairpin. We've seen a lot of contact. Flip Flop Fish will be your winner, but I'm expecting some investigations after the race for what has not been the cleanest race for who will be at the current point, at the moment, our championship leader.
Yeah, and if you want any more information, you can go to worldwidesimracing.com where we will post an update of all of the results later this week. Hopefully.
But Flip Flop Fish in Sector 2 doing his final few turns, and he is going to win this German Grand Prix by a pretty definitive margin. Now, the Mitch, though, I want to mention, is almost a second behind Psycho Sane. Oh, well, it looked like he was about a second. That my screen glitched there. Never mind. He's 4.9 seconds. Not close at all. It's glitched there for a second. It was at a second, and then maybe he's dropping back a little bit. I don't know what's going on. But here comes Flip Flop Fish, and he will win the German Grand Prix and at the moment take the lead of the championship. Here comes Psycho Sane around the final turn, and he will cross the head in second. Here comes Mitch. What will happen here? Nothing. And Honos. Actually, Honos.
Not gain upon Mitch.
And Element 10 doesn't get ahead of Honos unless after the penalties. We'll see. Yeah, he has to cross the line first for the penalties to go through. Let's see.
Will Honos have enough? 15 seconds there? I don't think so.
No.
You see me flying. Maybe a race at penalties won't actually affect anything. That'd be interesting.
Nope.
See me flying? No.
It's a pasture.
Ooh.
No. Except the front wing.
And Dempsey's too far behind, so that definitely won't come into account. An extra point has been awarded, by the way, and I will tell you to who.
I think it's Honos.
To Honos 9797979, who done the quickest lap of the race by quite an astounding margin of a 1:13.986.
Very, very good lap by him. Here's Dempsey coming across the line. And your winner of this race is not Dempsey, who's on the screen right now. It is Flip Flop Fish 4. Again, tentatively, with penalties possibly to ensue after this race, after what was not exactly the cleanest race in WSR ever. But here's the podium. Flip Flop Fish is your winner. Psycho Sane in second. And the Mitch in the McLaren. A McLaren on the podium, something we didn't expect to see this season. But then again, just like in 2019, we didn't expect Carlos Sainz to get on the podium. But it is your winner, Flip Flop Fish, at the moment. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the German Grand Prix on Worldwide Sim Racing. My name is WSRX.
And my name is Alex O'Sullivan. Thank you.
And thank you very much. We'll see you next week.